Welcome to the Magic on the Inside podcast by the Sisters Enchanted, where we chat magic, hot topics, personal development, and good old-fashioned life. Brew up something delicious and sit with us for a spell. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. I'm Sara, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and I'm joined today by...
Hi, I'm Anna.
My sister, co-founder extraordinaire here at the Sisters Enchanted. And since 2016, we have been bringing magic mainstream on the internet to all of you fine witchy folk out there. And today, we have a brand new podcast episode for you, where we are talking about storytelling as a magical tool. Anna.
Sarah.
How much do you love telling stories?
I tell so many stories.
How much do you love reading stories?
I love a good story.
Anna is a Norse mythology, well, any mythology, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology. Anna's a mythology powerhouse. I love me some fairy tales.
Yes.
So together we do a lot of storytelling.
Lots of storytelling.
Now, I'm going to tell this story about how you told me you were coming here to record this podcast, and then I was like, you should bring coffee, and you did not. How does that story end?
That story ends in my safe driving skills, where I do not check my phone for text messages whilst driving.
Driving my car.
I'm telling the story of my safety first driving skills.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. See, praise for Anna for being a jolly good citizen.
And your good driving skills.
Yes.
Yeah, Anna did drive here to me because her computer, we were going to do this at a distance, but her computer decided not to cooperate.
Yes, it needed some updating that I had been procrastinating on, and now it's taking a really long time.
When you procrastinate on updating your technology and then it forces an update, and you're like, F an update.
Yes, that's pretty much how I felt.
Now I can't live my own life on my own terms.
I can't finish that graphic I was making.
All because my computer forced an update.
And I had to come here.
It was so sad for you.
Without all of the extra equipment I was supposed to have with me.
Yeah. And I was like... Because my laptop audio syncs, and our microphone here, for some reason, it's picking up all of the ruckus. Like, whenever we're in an office building, whenever somebody else, like, flushes a toilet, or the heat kicks on, or someone just opens the door or talks in the hallway, it's picking up all of that, and it's so, so bad. So we've been using our headphones, like our earbud headphones, which work much better. But when Anna got here, I was like, well, now you don't have a spot to use headphones because we only have one thing and we're not set up for that. And Anna was like, when have I ever arrived with podcast equipment? Like, why would you expect that of me? And I was like, because I started to expect it right now.
It's also relevant information to know that I myself don't have headphones. And that when I'm using headphones, they are Chad's. And he wears them for work all day. And I just borrow them for times when you tell me I need to have them. So maybe I need to find a set of headphones that will go into my computer.
I'm going to buy us those ones with the big ear things and like the mouthpiece. And Danielle has them. And I talked to her on Zoom and they sounded really good. Danielle is a new team member here at the Sisters Enchanted, who you'll get to know, I'm sure. But,
so we need some sweet...
Yeah, and then I need a dongle.
A dongle.
That I can plug in.
They're like gaming headphones.
Yes, and then I need a dongle that I can plug in so that we can both...
Okay, well, let's do that.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. And then I will know that that's my podcast equipment. And when you tell me I have to show up for a podcast, I will come
prepared
with my equipment, because now there will be designated dongles.
That's right.
And headphones with microphones.
Never to be unprepared again.
Yeah. Maybe I'll even get a little sachet to put them in.
A sachet?
A sachet to put my dongle in and my headphones. That
like
says for podcasting.
So, you can tell how much we like storytelling. And coming up with the details of the story.
Right.
Creating the future.
And how we perseverated on certain words to help highlight the angst of the story.
Okay, for reals though, storytelling. Let's get focused, people. Storytelling is an amazing magical tool, and if you're not using storytelling in your magically creative life, you need to be. You can use storytelling in tarot, storytelling in your future visioning, in manifestation tools, working out your past in shadow work, creating your future, casting the vision for your future. There is so much that you can do with storytelling. Anna.
Sarah.
Do you want to, what should we talk about first? Should we talk about storytelling in tarot first? We have a whole unit.
I was going to say, we have a whole unit called Storytelling in Tarot.
I forgot about that until I said it. In our Tarot Throwdown program.
Yes, we do.
Listen,
it's a fan favorite.
Yeah, it is a fan favorite. It's one of the best tarot modules I've ever written. Yes. Tarot and storytelling. And it's all about
storytelling.
Yeah, you
tarot.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert.
Exactly what it says it is. No, but when you read tarot, so many people read tarot and are really hung up on the meanings of the cards. What exactly does this card mean? And they want the perfect meaning and textbook definition. And if you can practice your storytelling skills when it comes to tarot and start to look at the cards you pulled as a story, if the images in front of you are telling a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's characters and there's interactions, what is happening in that story? It's like reading a picture book without any words. What would you say is happening? And that's a really great way to practice storytelling when you're reading tarot and start to flex your intuitive muscles and really start to trust yourself in what you're seeing as truth in those cards as opposed to the textbook meaning of the cards.
Yes. I like that. Well, I say, because we also have our, Exhibition Astrology course, and I read the astrology as well, that
I read the things. The charts.
The charts on the cards and the things. And when I read the things, it's funny because how I describe it, to me as an intuitive being, that they read to me like a pop-up book. They pop, it's like a pop-up book, the chart, the cards, whatever it is. And so for me, it becomes storytelling because it's like a book.
I love that.
So even my astrology, I'm a rogue astrologer. It turns into this smorgasbord of intuition and astrology and storytelling, and the same thing with tarot. That's how it plays for me, like a book flipping pages of pop-ups.
So delightful.
Did you not know that about me?
That it was pop-up book?
It's like a pop-up book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's it opens a book and it just starts popping out.
That's delightful. Thank you. All right, so that's one way. That's another way you can use storytelling. You can rewrite your past and your future. Write letters to yourself. Write a story about how you are in the future. 20 years from now, how yourself is.
Right. Another practice that we really like doing too, which goes hand in hand with storytelling, which also helps your intuition, but also your creative juices a flowing, is we like to pull a card.
A flowing.
You pull a card and then make a story on that card. You might pull a card and it's the Hermit, and instead of reading it like tarot, you read a story and you say once upon a time there was a man on a mountain. It was a misty, cool night. All he had was his lantern to guide him. And then you pull another card and it might show you another, whatever tarot card, and then you add to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And make it a story starting from the first card and going through the narrative, which helps you think about the card in a different sense, but also helps you storytell and also helps with your creativity and all sorts of things. It's a good muscle flex.
Yeah, creativity. If you're not being creative, it's very challenging to bring things into your life. So if you're doing any manifestation practices and you're not doing something that makes you feel creative, that can feel very challenging to bring things in, because that creativity energy, whatever you're creating and putting out there, you're breeding that creative energy and that energy that will create what it is that you want. And what Anna said, this idea of pulling the different cards and creating a story as you go, you might also start to understand where you are maybe interpreting something in a shadowy sort of way, and like start to see a recurring theme, be like, wow, I appear to be really hung up on that.
Right.
Like I really
Right.
seem bent on making this character have this ending. And
Right.
like, why?
Well, which is really important too when you are doing a tarot practice or any kind of practice, because we tend to sometimes attach to a shadowy aspect of something when there is both a shadow and a light. So if you're always running into describing something in the shadow or in the light, it's a good opportunity to challenge yourself to try to do the opposite the next time that it comes up.
Yeah.
Because you, as somebody who's, having a practice that you might share with somebody else, you need to be able to do both.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the tower is not always doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and storytelling too. So tarot, we have a whole a blog post on the tower. You should go check it out and why it's not doom and gloom. And fun fact, Anna's last name is Tower.
Yes.
So exciting stuff there. But what was I saying? Oh, storytelling and creativity. That was not what I was saying. Oh, I think storytelling. I was going to say telling stories even in your everyday life. This is where I was going before I got waylaid. With Anna being the tower. You just gave me a tower moment.
I'm so sorry.
But storytelling in your everyday. So starting to ask yourself, if I were the character of a different story, what would I do? And I find this a lot with financial stuff. Like if you're facing financial choices, like asking for the raise you're afraid to ask for, or somebody who, like maybe you're trying to end a relationship, or you're trying to make a big decision, and ask yourself, if I was the person who already did this, what would they tell me? Or if I was the kind of person who, like if it was a friend that was going through this, what would I tell them? And sort of encouraging yourself through storytelling, and making yourself be a different character, right, in that alternate universe or that future version where this is not a thing for you because you've already done it, you already know what to do. But storytell your way through it. And that's a way to manifest that future or create the future that you want into being, is by storytelling as the person who's already done it. Anna and I were talking about this the other day with a financial decision that I had to make. And I was like, am I making a good decision or a broke decision right now? Like
with a little bit of stronger language.
Yeah, I use some stronger language in there, but I will use PG language for right now. But I had to ask myself, like, if I'm the character in this story, am I about to be the character who's afraid of spending money, afraid of losing money, and who feels broke, or am I the character who has confidence in themselves and understands that sometimes you have to make, this is like this kind of decision you make to propel forward, and which character am I? The broke one or the not broke one? Which character do I want to be right now? And I had to really shift my vision of myself as the character in my own life. What character am I being? So storytelling in tarot, storytelling for shadow work, storytelling for the here and now and the life you're creating.
Yeah, what story you want to tell as opposed to the story that you're telling.
Mm-hmm.
And what that looks like.
Yeah, and then of course, like the actual stories we love. The fairy tales have so much magic in them, and when you're trying to
and lessons,
and lessons, and when you're considering like growth work and using actual stories as ways to see that, like seeing yourself as a character in a fairy tale, seeing yourself as a character in a mythological story, understanding the progression and lessons learned there and applying them to your life.
The good thing about that too is, which actually we have a deep dive into something a lot like this in another class, which is a whole other thing, but it's also very interesting also when you're looking at storytelling and you are researching stories, whether they be fairy tales or mythology or things like that I always find it super helpful to look at both sides of the story.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes the villain's portrayed one way and the hero's portrayed another way. But if you are looking at it through the lens of the villain, why are they the way they are? Which is what you see in, stories like Wicked or there's a lot of stories that do the flip side.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in mythology and fairy tales, you don't get that. So you have to kind of rewrite the story in your head of what it would be from the little bit of background information you get.
Mm-hmm.
And, why are they acting this way? Is it, are we looking at it like with a clear lens? Like the story of Medusa, she's often the monster. But if you look at it from the other side, is she in fact the monster? What kind of lessons do you learn by looking at it the other side from a different set of lenses and not just the storyteller's lens?
Yeah.
Can teach you lots of things.
And your own life that same way.
I know.
Somebody else looking at your life, what would they say?
Exactly. Or how if you had a situation with somebody, or like if me and you had a conversation, you and I had a conversation.
Converse.
If we were to converse, as we do.
We never converse.
Obviously.
We converse 0 minutes of a day.
There has never been like 3 half-hour FaceTimes in one day. Never. That doesn't happen. But like say we had an altercation. Like if we did, my perception is not that's never happened. I'm not like my perception's not the only perception. If I said something and I was like, wait, what happened? Why did she get mad? But then I put myself in Sarah's shoes and think about that. You learn a lot about yourself, what language you used, how to maybe not approach somebody, or
I didn't have folks there.
How to not do that. But you can really think a lot about that, like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, even though the shoes don't fit.
What if, though, the shoes do fit?
Our shoes do fit. Yours are a little big for me.
Yours are a little tight.
But pretty much the same.
Yeah. So, okay then. I just ruined the point.
Just a tad bit. Fun fact. My older son is 9, and he is now like one size shoe away from being able to share shoes with me. I have like the world's smallest feet, and it's really something. I bought him some work boots, and I can wear them. And I was like, oh, when he decides he doesn't want to wear these work boots anymore, I got myself a new pair of work boots.
For all the work that you do.
Because he's going to grow out of them, and I'm not.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
That's crazy.
I know it is.
He's taller than you before you know it.
Yes, he is. It's really alarming.
It is.
But, yeah, you can learn a lot from
storytelling. Magical storytelling.
Right.
Y'all.
And not even just like putting yourself in that position, and like we were saying, really getting your creative thoughts going, and journaling as if you were the other person in that story and how that might feel. Because even if you're not doing it, or especially if you're not doing it in a structure, free writing is
that's such good shadow work.
Such good shadow work. It's so very freeing. And when you take the structure away from something creative, you might uncover something that you didn't realize. Like if you are putting yourself in somebody else's position or something like that, you might realize something you didn't when you were looking at it at only your own lens, through your own monocle.
Yeah, understanding another perspective.
Yeah.
That really frees you up from all of the stuff you're holding on to around it.
Yeah. So much magic in storytelling.
So much magic.
In storytelling.
Witches. Okay then.
You know what?
What? Do you like that we're doing this for YouTube too now?
No, because I think people are going to see.
We have to get dressed. Like, I mean, I'm dressed actually every day.
I'm dressed.
You are. But sometimes you're still in your nighttime optional to daytime sweatpants look later in the day than I am.
Well, that's because now if you looked through my lens, if you put on my monocle and took off your monocle and closed one eye and looked inward on what my outlook on the story is that if you're new here and you're just happening to stumble upon us in YouTube land, but if you've been here for a while and you know us of the Magic on the Inside podcast, you will know that I have a now just currently 5-month-old, and that none of my clothes fit except sweatpants.
Yes.
I can't lie. I have 0 bras that fit. I have 1 bra that fits. I have like 1 pair of pants that actually fits.
These ones fit.
These ones are not so bad. But like none of my shirts fit.
Well, it wasn't so much about your clothes fit. I meant just like, I mean, you are like dressed, and sometimes you still, I wouldn't know if you had just arisen for the day or if you had been risen for hours. Let's see.
Is it because I don't wash my hair every day?
No, you're fine. You can be freshly arisen for our podcast.
I actually think I dress less the days that I shower because my hair's like all clean and I put on like some comfy clothes because I feel all clean.
That is something like when you get out of the shower and you have like nice fresh wet hair and you just like
throw it up or just let it all be. Yeah, I have no clothes of it. Zero.
I ripped a pair of jeans recently in the buttocks area.
I know you did.
I bent down and rip they went. So we don't have those anymore.
Yeah, so I have lots of shadow work to do about like my postpartum self. We had pictures taken, and I just was like in a pit of despair afterwards. I
those pants did not rip when I wore them.
How you wear a pair of pants and they rip and it's humorous.
Oh, it was. I bent down and I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen.
So bothered.
That was unintended.
Maybe you need some sweatpants.
Look at I'm wearing.
These are great pants.
Yes, they are.
They're really flouncy.
There's space in them.
For activities.
You can fit a whole other human in these.
I need a pair of pants like that. That go up over that like mom
literally
overhang.
Can pull them up.
Yeah, I need a pair of pants that lets
you just need these pants.
the mom hang.
All right.
Loose and free.
So, storytelling. Do some magical storytelling. You won't regret it. Get out your tarot cards and do some storytelling. You won't regret it. It's a great practice. And let's hope no one rips their jeans today whilst listening to this. And if you want some practice with storytelling, come hang out with us in Tarot Throwdown, and you'll get the tarot and storytelling unit in there.
Yes.
It's so good. And on May 23rd, we're having our one-day tarot event to celebrate our 5th birthday here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we've got over 4,000 students that have taken Tarot Throwdown, so it's good. And when you register, you also get to attend either the tarot event live or get all the replays to the classes we're bringing you. It's going to be a day of live classes. So you'll get the replays too because, not everybody just happened to be free that day.
Right.
So we'll put the link below. It's signup.thesistersenchanted.com/Tarot Throwdown. And maybe we'll see you in there.
Yay!
Until next time. Subscribe, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching here. So many things to consider where you're coming from. But I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.